Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So this week I think we're going to bring you something you'll be really interested in from a fitting perspective, something that we kind of talk about a lot in our fittings when people ask us about why we use quad versus TrackMan versus other technologies and our preferences for fitting. So we're going to address the role of the lie board, Matty.
Absolutely. So everyone has hit probably or seen one of these beauties.
I've used them.
Used them early on in your career.
Yep, used them a lot. When that was the done thing, when that was the required sort of process for us to get to the right sort of lie angle. We would obviously use face tape for length and make sure that the shaft was right for the player. But it's a standard part of club fitting.
Yeah, that's the first set of irons I ever had fit for me were hammering off a plastic lie board exactly like that. So the concept of it, I think most people are familiar with. The fitter's trying to make the club come in dead flush and take a perfect straight divot. That's the goal of a lie fitting in the traditional sense. And what I think you've introduced people to is, okay, lie angle with irons is really more geared towards making the ball start correctly and go in the direction you want.
Just right. We're trying to tilt the club
adjust
face.
Ball flight, And that, I think some people initially, well, it's just like anything else. When your perception or your opinion is kind of met with a new concept, initially people are kind of like, well, don't you need to have a straight divot?
Right.
So I think a lot of people found it interesting that you basically said, don't worry about your divot, hit the ball on the green, like hit the ball where you're aiming.
It's funny, as you were talking there, I actually forgot all about this. At one point, I get into a pretty heated debate with Jim McLean.
Oh, okay.
About this.
About lie angle.
About lie angle and how we measure it and the value of the lie board and stuff like that. So, he was adamant that, the lie board, was the method that you use to identify lie angles, and I, strongly disagreed. I showed him why and that sort of thing, and he was still of the opinion, but. We've seen, I think, that fitting has evolved beyond just that. I mean, it is a useful prop, I would say, at times. If you're on the demo run and, maybe you don't have a GC quad to take round with you, Matty, and you're trying to establish some baselines, but...
better than nothing kind of thing?
Almost.
Maybe not.
Marginally better than nothing.
Maybe not.
But one thing I will say is, it's always ball flight first.
Yeah, okay.
Divot, depth and width second,
and evenness and whatever.
Yeah, that sort of thing. It's that will kind of that will come somewhere later. In fact, it's not all that important at all. But first and foremost, we have to try and get your face to match your path in order to try and get the ball flight to be nicely controlled. So when we see the divot depth go toe side or heel side, sure, there's a point where if you are, hitting it with a toe down and the club is still going, for most people it would be a hook.
Yeah.
If you're still hooking it from a toe down position, sure, you can't keep going flat.
No.
Until you, until you stop doing that.
Like this,
exactly, and then you create no energy and all that sort of stuff. There is a point where you cannot just tilt the face to purely make up for, the multiple delivery kind of flaws that we would see. But there's a point where we're okay to tilt it a little bit one way and a little bit the other, and I think that's what I want to try and get over today in the test today.
Definitely. Okay, so doing a little switch up. We did a little quick testing with me with the lie board and realized I'm probably not the best candidate to illustrate what we're trying to explain because I guess my lie angle changes do sort of match up with the ball flight adjustments we're trying to make?
Yeah, fairly well. I mean, you're in the minority in that you're really low with your handle through the kind of impact, whereas I'm the opposite. I'm a handle raiser,
which is more common to have a toe down orientation and impact for most golfers you see. For
most players, but that's not the key factor because it's what is your ball flight. Like we always say, it's most important. So for me, I'm somebody who overdraws it.
Yes.
But delivers it toe down. Right. So we're always talking about how much can you use that lie angle to tilt the face. Well, in my case, we can't match a perfect lie angle because we'll just hit it dead left all the time.
Exactly.
And hopefully we'll show that. So this iron I've got right now is standard lie angle 62, which I never play irons at 62. So
yeah, you would never start with that. So we're going to give you the treatment we were going to do with me is you come in, you're going to have your lie angles fit using the lie board.
Correct.
Give us a couple swings and let's see where the tape impacts are.
Yeah. Okay.
You're a lot better at hitting off a lie board than I am.
Well, but you know, this is perfect because like,
come show. Let's take a look at that.
Look where that impacted. Now, you would look at that shot, right? We're playing together, right? Playing. You would go.
You've hit it good.
Nice. You know, you've hit that as good as you would want to hit a 6-iron.
So that is way out on the toe
Here.
of the tape. Right. So it's 2002. You're getting fit. Your lie tape is showing that. The fitter is going to recommend that you get your lie angles bent 2 or 3 degrees upright, and you're going to order your set and have them delivered.
He goes, Ian, you know, you're obviously not a bad player. You can play the game a little bit, but you'll never be able to play with your lie angles like that.
Yeah, because your toes coming in.
Exactly. You've got to have them upright. Okay, no, sure. Yeah, I can see that tape. That makes no sense. Like, why would I be doing that?
Yeah, I don't want the strike there.
Yeah, no, we need to do that. So he'd go hit another one for me. Let's just to be sure.
Okay.
I go,
like
that one felt
another good hit.
Quite similar, ball speed 132, like right
well.
where I'm expecting it to be.
Yeah.
Overcooked the shape. Exact same
You've hit the exact same shot, yeah.
4.8.
Right, so this would be the point where it would be cool now. We've established where that mark is on the tape. We know it's on the toe.
Yeah.
You've ordered your irons. Why don't you take that iron, bend it to the spec that you would have had the outcome from the fit. So you've bent those according to what we saw on the tape, which was going to need 4 degrees of adjustment to likely get a flush. And we're cheating a bit, but we saw it on GC Quad. It was 4 degrees toe down.
Yeah, rookie doesn't have the ability to see
but
it
we
there,
can confirm
we can see that.
Yeah, so you bent it exactly the way that you would recommend.
Definitely.
You put a fresh piece of tape, fresh dots, so let's see what happens.
Okay.
Okay.
Exact same ball speed as before.
Yeah. Slightly left of target. Okay, so you zeroed it out.
Zeroed it out.
It's 0.4 down, which is down.
Nothing.
It's nothing. It's
and it's showing that here. Pretty much right there.
Yeah, so let's take a look at that because I'm curious. And then we can show these two tapes. Yeah, so look.
Okay.
0.4. Yeah. There's the meat of your about there, right?
Yep.
So if we look at these two, you've achieved what you were trying to achieve in a fit, which is to get those impacts back to center.
And how far left did it go? 51 yards.
Yeah,
51 yards.
Yeah, and if you look at, the funny thing is, like, if you look at everything else about your golf swing, it's not like you swung any differently, but the face gets way closed, obviously, because now the face is now, you've tilted it left. And I will pull up the shot. This is the shot before you adjusted it, right? Very much, similar. Path was within a degree of it, of where you were. Lie angle was 4.8 toe down, and then after you made that adjustment and you zeroed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually got slightly toe up that time.
Okay.
So you've made 2 perfectly flush divots.
Yeah. So 2 of the best divots you could see.
You've had 2 fine divots, but 2 shots that one was 25 yards offline, another was 40 to 50 yards offline.
Right.
So you've hit 2 shots that you would look at your divot and say, that looks great. Then you start analyzing your swing and saying, what am I doing wrong? And I would imagine that takes you down a bit of a dark kind of path, doesn't it?
So there it is there, right? So we go, all right, path is pretty similar.
It's the same, yeah.
Face obviously is significantly different due to the tilt of the loft.
Yep. You're essentially closing the club by changing that lie so much.
Yeah. So those are so different for that reason.
Yeah.
So you can see, Matty, in this scenario, like
Yeah.
You know, how do you get that? How do you get that fitting and come away with it with any kind of a decent fit? If you fit off a lie board, if you literally go and are governed by the tape.
Yeah, which you would be, right? Unless someone somehow had the foresight to say, okay, I'm using the tape as just you'd have to use it as just a little bit of a tool.
Definitely.
But then still assess the ball flight. But that's not what people are generally getting when they go.
And currently for me, that is the main thing I'm working on in my golf swing.
Yeah.
Trying to shallow enough to where I can get the handle down through impact and rotate more rather than hang back and flipping. So, you know, for me right now, the lie angle is a big crutch.
Yeah.
It's something that I can really use in order to, because look at those ball speeds, 132, 132, 132, 131 and a half. So they're all the same. The launch is pretty much the same.
True.
We got a bit of a jumper off the lie board.
Yeah, the lie board spin numbers haven't been exactly spot on, have they?
So, but all of those are really ballpark enough. We're just seeing massive discrepancies on direction based on face angle.
Very
That's
interesting.
what it is.
Yeah. Perfect example. It really is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what illustrates you've achieved what a lie angle fitting traditionally is. Get a shallow or an even divot.
Yeah.
But you've got a ball flight that is in fact worse than when you came in. If anything, you would have your clubs flat.
Yeah.
Your clubs would be a little bit flat right now.
Yeah.
And again, like I know you're working on your swing, and people will make that argument.
Yeah.
Most people don't work on their swing. They come in for a fitting to get the best clubs for them so they can play the best golf.
For sure.
And you can still have the conversation with them and say, okay, as you work on your swing, come back, we can assess and change your lie angles for you. But it's adjustable. That's the point of it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like you can come back in 6 months and put them the way you need them.
Where they need to be, and as that swing evolves, exactly.
But
so,
don't put them in a position to just hit horrendous shots in the meantime.
That's right. Well, that would be a set of clubs I couldn't play.
No, you'd be hitting
Couldn't do it.
30-yard hooks all day, which
all
I know
day.
you don't do.
No.
Yeah.
So
that's really interesting.
But I think what I really want, everyone watching to take away from this as well is it's just power and knowledge for when you go in for a fit. If somebody tries to fit you to a lie board, you can go, no, I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do it on that.
This is not going to work for me. I want to be governed by the ball flight first.
Yeah.
And everything else second.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say just us messing around before we realized that I was a bad example of this.
Right.
Because if you look at my lie tape and the lie adjustments you made for me, they actually do match up.
Yeah. Yours were okay.
Yeah, so my lie tape was a little bit in the heel, pulling them a little bit, flatten them out a bit, straight as the ball flight.
Straightened it out.
But 98% of people won't get that experience with lie tape. Like I'm a very, I guess I'd almost be lucky in the sense that lie tape would have given me an okay fitting.
Sure.
But most people, it will be like you. You won't get what you actually need out of the fit. So it is interesting.
Yeah, if you're any kind of handle raiser, and there's lots of us out there.
For the most part, people tend to raise the angle of the shaft at impact.
They stand up a little bit through impact. They kind of getting sort of extension through impact, and that's what causes them to stand up and and sort of tilt the face. So, unless you can get away from that tendency, you'll always deliver it a little bit toe down. But it's whether that matches your ball flight.
Yeah.
But we just need to be obviously governed by that.
Yeah. So make sure you ask the question, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're going for a fitting. If you don't have access to anything but the lie board, at least know this information. At least know that, okay, if the fitter says to me, bend your irons 4 up, but you hook everything, at least you can say, listen, I don't want to hook the ball worse. I need a lie angle that dictates my ball flight.
I just think in this day and age, in all honesty, if you are not going somewhere where they have the ability to measure dynamic lie angle, ball flight, and the ability to subsequently change it, i.e. a loft lie machine.
It's not worth your money?
It's not worth your money.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean,
it's fair to say, I think.
And a lot of the fitting carts will have different heads that come at different lie angles, so that's great.
So that's fine.
We used to have 2 flat, 2 up, 4 up at TaylorMade, 4 up in certain heads. So, I would have been today fitting to 4 degrees up. I've never played upright in my life, ever.
Yeah.
And I never will in the near future.
No.
I really won't until something changes. But a baseline test off of this, Matty, it's scary. There's people out there that are fitting with no launch monitor, just doing this stuff.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
And you're hitting a screen and there's no ball flight representation, and they go, look at that, look, you're flushing that now. How does that feel?
I know. Yeah, of course it feels better. It feels great.
Feels fantastic.
Like the last couple you hit actually sounded the best.
Yeah.
But the shots were
the
worst.
They were by far the worst.
Yeah.
And you know, you will see more energy transfer, but that's a function of me having a sort of faulty golf swing right now.
And the face was shut too. Of course it's going to feel like it's hotter.
Exactly. So I need to play them a little bit flat right now. I need to manage things like speed right now, because the more speed I create, the more the handle lift. So I got to dial speed back right now. I got to do a couple of things in my swing to manage that. But you know, I've got the knowledge from this to know what I need to do.
And all that being said, you are a way better than average player. And look at the poor effect it had on your flight. With the ability you have to actually, you know, hit good shots.
Sure.
Imagine someone who's 10, 15 handicap, who would just go out on the golf course and be like, I just bought new irons and I can't hit the broadside of a barn with these things.
I would not sort of I couldn't begin to think of the changes I would need to make in order. I would be trying to hold the thing off, installing,
all kinds
and
of stuff.
I'd be doing all sorts of nonsense to try and hold that online.
I think it's a fair takeaway. It's 2019, TrackMan, GC Quad, GC2 with the HMT technology. They've been out for a long time. They're really common. There's enough fitting centers around there. You've got to just not waste your money on something that doesn't give you that feedback. And make sure you find someone who at least understands the process.
And make sure when you're going out there and you're looking for an iron, make sure sort of the adjustability of the iron is something that you're factoring into your decision-making process.
And that's why in the past you've liked the Srixon 580 65s.
Exactly.
Good iron. Not that it's the only good iron, but it's forged so you were able to bend them more for people.
919 hot metal. Again, something that has a faster sort of frame to it and faster design, but it's still very bendable.
It's a good point.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, good.
Okay, guys, well, maybe we'll kind of get into a little bit of this troubleshooting around sort of the fitting day or the demo day and that sort of thing.
Kind of the myths of it and stuff.
And build something into a little series where we can sort of help you guys that when you go to these fitting days, you are armed with the kind of right process, and you know exactly what you're walking into, and you can kind of almost control what's going to happen to you that day.
True.
You can go, no, actually I don't want to do it that way, I want to do it this way, I want to test for that. And because to be honest, right now if I went to a demo day, Matty, and someone tried to make me go upright, it'd be game over, wouldn't it?
It would be.
It'd be game over. We couldn't do it.
And if you didn't have the knowledge to know it was wrong, you'd unfortunately just get led so far down the wrong path, right? Yeah.
Definitely. Cool.
Okay.
All right, guys. Hope this has been helpful. I'm sure many of you will be sharing your stories of
let us
things
know in the
like
comments
this.
if you've had a similar kind of experience.
There will be this is going to be a big hitter for us when it comes to the comments, because people will be sharing their stories of, I went to a demo day, I spent $1,200 on a set of irons, worst thing I ever done.
Yep.
This is why, this same exact reason. Couldn't keep it on the golf course.
Very true, yeah.
Understandable.
Okay, let us know.
Excellent, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you again soon.